because of those calculated pieces of aggression they'll be pulling out, getting into 100 Thieves' heads and making sure they don't have the space and the freedom to play their T side the way they did on Vertigo. And that's going to be a game changer for 100 Thieves, which will take away a lot of the favor that they had on the map they won. I'm guessing we see double digits from both teams, but I would see FURIA taking it across the line at the end of the day.
Okay, I think just to be different, I'm going to go with 100 Thieves because I'm kind of indifferent at the moment. I'm on the fence, so I think I'll add a little bit of competition between us by going that way. But yeah, no, I also expect this to be a very close game between both teams. Maybe like 16-13, 16-12, something along those lines.
Well, at least now we can finally say biased casters. We're each biased for a team. There we go. It's like a war.
The amount of damage that's been done on top of actually that initial frag there being found, it was a lot of the players being taken down for 100 Thieves. They do thankfully get Arthur, as he unfortunately didn't realize some players had jumped over him. Up to this point as well, just trades back and forth. It's the dual Beretta's actually in the hands of Vinny. No longer in his hands because he has been killed. But yeah, that was an interesting weapon choice. Wasn't really able to get much done with them, unfortunately. And now 100 Thieves haven't actually brought this back up towards the upper bomb site. It does make it a little bit more awkward for FURIA, having to take some time to rotate in. Fortunately, Casarado does manage to find Jacob up in the lobby, and Azar being low health as well, trying to take that peek towards door, actually just going to go down. So now it's all on Liaz, tagged up on the bomb site. Henny also not looking too healthy as he's stepping around in heaven, just trying to act as a bit of a distraction right now. And there it is. Casarado coming in from the door, peeking at the same time as Henny, ensuring that they at least could get the trade. That was a huge round right there from Casarado, actually being able to pick up the quad.
Nasty stuff. We've seen this a couple of times as well coming through from FURIA, where an individual is able to walk away with those insane pistol rounds. Certainly, I recall an instance of Vinny with a pistol, none other than the revolver, grabbing an ace in the show match we were playing. That was probably the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. But luckily, he's not crazy enough to be pulling revolvers out in official matches. He's
chicken.
Exactly. Oh, well, I mean, he made the point it's viable on the CT side. He's not wrong.
It was viable against
top-level opponents. I was on his team.
Oh, you were on his team, okay.
Yeah, I was the one begging him.
Yeah, but you were against, like, Dinko and stuff, so...
Yeah, you know,
not the same level of opposition.
Whatever.
You won a 1v1 against Sergey in that show match. He clearly wasn't on his game that day.
It was 2 1v1s. Let's not get the facts incorrect.
Pistols, though, for 100 Thieves here. I'm not expecting a lot from them. Like, I don't usually expect a lot from you. JK, love you. But right now, yeah, I mean, they're just slowly being chipped away at. The scouts having a fun time. Henny has already tagged down 2 of the players. Struggling to find the follow-up on Jacob, but will eventually be able to do so. And indeed, it does seem like it's just going to be cleaned up. Just those 2 pistols remaining. The rifles beginning to peek out, taking those fights pretty much at free will. Leaving it all onto Azza now. He has a P250, he has that bomb on his hip, but against 5 players, there's probably not much he can do. If he can get 1 kill even, I mean, that's not too bad. And indeed does manage to catch Art. If he could go ahead and find a second, potentially, that would be pretty massive considering what they actually invested into this round. But in the end, it will just be the 1. So 100 Thieves going to be coming now onto the buy, of course, and this is where they're looking to try and get some early T rounds.
Sorry for my sounds. I accidentally completely shut down my stream view, but we're back. We're good.
How'd you manage
I'll try not to do that again. I don't know. I've too many windows open right now. It's not good. The yeah, so FURIA 2-0, solid start for them, building the foundations. 100 Thieves on the T side. They're looking for outside control. Art spam through the smoke. That's a great start for them. I want to see another smoke go down, please, before we're crossing over. You know, there's not going to be an op-in play more than likely, but there is still the scout to worry about, or some players playing further back with those M4s that could catch a lot of damage as you go over. It looks like they're going to be safe enough.
Yeah, that was a little bit awkward. Art, I guess, was presuming that the second smoke was also going to go down, so perhaps he could just hide in it and then get the flank on them as they went down secret, but it didn't. There was only the 1 smoke, so he ended up just kind of being stuck in the open there, hoping that he could find something around either edge of the smoke, and that did not work out. A minute though remaining now, 100 Thieves, of course, focusing on towards this B bomb site, where for the moment I don't think there's really much to defend. It is just Casarado actually up close to the double doors. Quickly though, rotation's actually coming down from ramp, so if 100 Thieves don't move quickly, then there is going to be a few players for them to deal with. As I say that though, not really struggling too much with it. Gratisfaction and Azza both being able to take 1 each, and with that now this round is over, and I was going to say they're both going to be looking to try and save, but JKS haven't actually been still lurking outside, is able to just catch one of them already and may be able to do the same to Vinny. Vinny actually moving over towards lobby, so it's probably going to be Azza to find it instead.
Info from chat. Apparently yesterday, Vinny was using the R8 revolver in officials on train and won around with it. So, fair play.
I actually didn't see that.
It would have been their CT side he was using it on train. Please don't tell me he was using the T side. I just remember I was like, weird. Okay, listen, this is an important game. It's my HLTV profile. Let's make sure we pay. You know, I don't get to play a lot of games as a caster that are on HLTV, so let's make sure that we bang them out. And he was like, all right, I'm going to bring in the revolver. I was like, no, Vinny, are you listening to me? Like,
he's like, this is the best you're getting, man.
And then when he bought it and he was in a 1v5, I was like, okay, all right, GG. And he aced it. It's like, what can you do? Man was hitting mad shots.
I mean, FURIA aren't shying away after the aggression not working out in the beginning of that previous round. We see this time instead taking it towards ramp, though, having actually lost the complete outside control within seconds of the round beginning. That definitely was a necessity. This is an issue. Look at the amount of control that 100 Thieves already have. They have players pushed up close on Hell now already. There's actually one player in behind that box towards the CT spawn, which they are yet to clear out. Unfortunately, though, for Caserato, he gets dropped before Henny can really do anything about those couple of players moving forward. He's not really going to be able to do anything in the end either way, as he does go down, and it is only Ark to eventually find that one return, but he's not able to remain healthy while doing so, taken down low at least, and also, importantly, not able to retrieve that rifle as the molly was he did have to just put that molly down, rather, just so he could actually drop away and make sure no one followed it up. Again, you can see the ideas behind this, needing to actually regain some control. It's just unfortunate that 100 Thieves seem to have players in all the right positions at the moment, including the B-bomb site. That's a good position for them right now. That'll get the bomb plant.
FURIA just going to save over the M4 they've got to play with. Art can go and skirmish and try to find something. Anything's better than USP, really. But as Vinny gets shot in the back, that's going to hurt. That's going to sting. And where's Art at right now? He's chilling out with a Krieg in hand, looking for some victim to find. Really, he wants to be saving this weapon forward. But, I mean, if he can find a stray bullet, why not? Well, on 13 HP, you really got to limit the angles you're peeking. Oh, no! Comes off the angle at the worst possible moment as Liaz jumps around.
Yeah, that was really awkward. The auto director took me away as well just at that moment, so we had to quickly swap back. But yeah, no weapons being saved over, unfortunately. That leaves them in a pretty tough spot. I mean, they get 2,400, so they can't really afford to spend anything in this round. Art having 2,750, even then, that's not really enough for him, so ideally he is going to keep all of that. At best, then, he could get the glass cannon for himself in the next round if they did want to pull it out. But this is a tough spot for FURIA to be in. It's going to be 3-2 for 100 Thieves, pretty much certainly, considering there's not even an upgraded pistol. And obviously, as I said, with it being a somewhat limited buy in the next round, there is an opportunity for 100 Thieves, if they can get this next gun round, to really build up a solid foundation early on this T side. But let's see. I mean, nothing too crazy being done by the CTs at the moment. A little bit of a ramp stack coming in, with 4 of the players, I believe that is, just entrusting Art alone here towards main, so he'll at least get the info if they go towards A. One of the players beginning to rotate a little bit off ramp as well. Vinny actually moving to Hell. With that, he can actually spot the secret cross. I guess a little bit worried that they'd get flanked through B.
I mean, the chances for FURIA winning this round are fairly low, so carrying forward a weapon would be great. 100 Thieves sticking together, though. They know they can't afford to really give up any opportunities. You're going to be ready to trade and take fights together. Is more than likely when you run into one opponent, you're going to be facing a plethora of them. And at the moment, there's nothing really being given over. No opportunities for these USPs to shine. Moving in towards the bomb site, as I say, that Jacob falls, and at least Yuri's dealt with eventually. It wasn't a stack up, it was just a one-man peek around the back of the bomb site. Didn't quite time it well with the players coming in through heaven. So the opportunity capitalized on. One weapon dropped. Thing is, for the T side, it doesn't matter so much to lose 1 or 2 rifles in a round like this, because they've got money built up, they're getting a bomb plant. What really matters for FURIA, and their mission objective, if they could find 3 or more kills, sure, but really it's saving a weapon, and that opportunity is not being granted to them at all. And even safely throwing the AK into the corner so that when the bomb blows up, it won't be thrown into a position where they can maybe pick it up.
Yeah, and just all leaving together and towards the CT spawn out into this direction where they do know that it should be clear. Spotting Henny actually towards outside now, only having USPs though at long range. Not really expecting anything. Casarado, I believe, actually went down to the bomb. Yeah, must have got tagged up slightly and then was unfortunately a little bit too close to it. So that was a bit awkward. But there it is. I mean, we didn't expect anything really in that round there for Furia, so it is really now, as they come back onto the rifles, that we need to see them actually start picking something up. As I said, though, it is going to be a little bit limited. Vinny seems like he will just have the rifle to work with. Goes for the AUG in the end. So, I mean, the FAMAS having to come out, no defuse kits, unfortunately, actually able to be afforded. And nades-wise, it could be a little bit better as well. So, as I said, this is a good chance for 100 Thieves to really start running away with a bit of a lead here on the T side. Vice versa, that means obviously Furia, they do need to pick this round up if they don't want to let it actually get out of control early on. As I said, if they do get off to a poor start, that's when you begin to worry when you look back and realize how also one-sided the previous map was. I think more so because just 100 Thieves, once they get rolling, they can definitely be difficult to stop.
No, definitely. A team that once they get that momentum rolling, they're in it for the long run. They're just going to be steaming through. Oh, look at this close position by Hart. He's gone unnoticed for just a moment. Spams are distracting. Gratisfaction easily dealing with them, but Hart should now start to make a move, and he's going to come up behind. Shot in the back in a second as JKS takes him down, but still at least finding the one kill. I would have liked a little bit more. The damage onto Liaz, Jacob, and Azur is good. So these next fights are going to determine, or this next fight really going to determine the trajectory of the round. Tucked up close. There's big responsibility to Henny. He needs to take at least 2 players down for this retake to be worth considering. That is, provided the bomb makes it down here. So far, it hasn't moved from outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's been slowed down. Lias does have to go back and pick it up, which will happen. No one really actually contesting it, of course, for Furia, as you would expect, so it will eventually be brought down towards B, but it's only 15 seconds. So if they can drop this bomb, if they can get a few kills, this could get really awkward with the time. That Molotov not actually quite going into Dark, so it took a few seconds to really start damaging Henny. He's given the time to actually move out into the open, and it's done. Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. They've actually managed to get it down. I was on JKS at that point, so I didn't hear the noise of the bomb actually begun to be planted there in the smoke. Unfortunately, Henny wasn't able to stop it. It looked like they weren't able to get that one planted in time, but they have done it. Casarado at this point does have to just give up on it because, as I pointed out in the beginning of the round, unfortunately, no defuse kits to work with.
What a shame. I mean, Henny was in such a good position, not able to land a kill. The smoke down, he had to spam, being mollied as he did. It looked so good, but unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize on the time. Like you said, their Furia losing out on the round and putting themselves down by 2. Pretty significant lead, really, for 100 Thieves. It's the T side on Nuke. They're off to a good start. Furia should have been slightly favored coming onto this, at least looking at results. And just general comfort on the map. And now forced down to buying up very little around this Krieg. It should just be pistols backing it. It leaves a 5th round most likely to go towards 100 Thieves, which is not at all where you want to be giving the team that just smashed you out on the previous map. They also whiffed their nade to start that out, so the door had to be manually opened. It doesn't matter, though. Still a kill for Liaz.
Yeah, it didn't really do any damage, so the main thing, as you said, was the fact that the door wasn't open, but even then, Liaz still getting himself a quick kill, actually following up at a second as well and being joined by JKS already. In terms of the scoreboard being lit up in this round, Henny was able to get actually a second kill there before going down. A little bit awkward then on the spray, trying to transfer it over, not having the Kevlar. Once he got hit by 1 bullet as well, the aim punch was just way too much for him to deal with. So 100 Thieves, they do indeed manage to bring themselves up to 5. As you said, it's really not the amount of rounds you want to be given over this early on. It's such a strong foundation for them now. If they can grind out even just 2 more rounds throughout the rest of this half, when you look at it, which of course is really achievable, at that point then they have 7, and that's already a really good T side. And obviously being up 5-2, you think maybe they can get even more than that. But they're in such a strong spot where even if Furia do really start picking it up on the CT side, all they need is another 1 or 2 to feel somewhat comfortable. But let's see. I mean, the double op setup, this is a switch up from Furia that we haven't seen yet. Oh no, just straight through the smoke. JKS had the perfect timing apparently.
With that man advantage now, FURIA, or 100 Thieves rather, with the man advantage, have gained themselves a little bit of confidence to move in towards outside. Not even a smoke thrown yet. They're not worried about the AWPs being around this area as they now finally smoke on the cross and start to push on down into secret, making it much more difficult for the ops. Vinny's good for a trade, though. JKS taken down. I'm just going to say it, Dean. We're all thinking that knife animation is garbage. It's on everyone's mind. Someone had to say it.
I mean, it's personal taste.
No. It's just garbage.
Right now, all the players actually for 100 Thieves gone down towards Secret. They do spot Casarado towards the single door right there. He wasn't initially able to find a kill. I presume he was just falling back to play passive, but actually stuck around, got himself one. And with Henny also been able to find Gratisfaction coming out through the double door. Suddenly this round has just been pretty firmly pulled in favor of FURIA. One has been brought back at least by Jacob, so that's going to give them the bomb plant. But with Jacob being tagged up heavily already, it doesn't really bode too well. One positive being, I guess, that it is this double op setup. I guess realizing Yuri, of course, that one player has been tagged up. He had the pistol in his hands, has traded over to the rifle now, and almost got the spam there on Jacob. That was very close. Here in the reload, Jacob decided he wanted to try and capitalize on it, but Vinny was still up close, so he was ready for the push, leaving it all on Leah's position known. The swing comes in, and the headshot is found. And that's FURIA finding themselves a third. Doing so pretty convincingly as well with 3 players alive. That's what they need. Especially keeping the double op setup in play.
Right, keeping the scopes, getting themselves a buy up. This is what we want to see, but FURIA have got a big task afoot. Big meal on their plate. They've got to eat right up. Can't leave any of the veggies behind. The 100 Thieves are building up 5 rounds. Good foundations. They're firmly cemented into the ground. Now they're looking to build up all the way to the penthouse. If they can get themselves up 7, 8 rounds, things are looking fantastic for them. So FURIA have got 1 slip up, and that's it. And at the moment, they've got no money, so they cannot lose this round. If they do, 100 Thieves are good to more than likely dominate the T-half. Can't allow that. Not on Nuke. Not on a map you should be more comfortable on. Not after being stomped out, because 100 Thieves are riding high after Vertigo. And the odd round or 2 lost here or there isn't going to stress them out at all. There's no mental game to play against them until you're well in the lead and showing them that, well, they're not going to dominate. You got 3 players close in door. A push down. Should be an immediate rotate down through the vents. As Casarado falls. No. The shot missed by Henny. That cost him his life, and a man advantage for 100 Thieves as they push B. Vents being pushed down on, but I mean, 100 Thieves know this. They smoke off the door and go for the plant where Single can't see them.
And Vinny actually just about backing into the angle there that Leah's was holding. Nice little spray on a pixel by angle at that point, as they're able to get one as well as they move in from ramp. And I think he did hear that scope actually from Art. Especially knows now as the kill comes in, of course. So follows up, shots missed. He's able to capitalize on that, and 100 Thieves, despite losing the round, immediately come back with one of their own. As I pointed out, 3 people surviving in that previous round that we did actually see FURIA win was good for them, obviously, because it allowed them to still buy up into the next round, into that previous one, if we're going to be exact, was still a pretty strong buy, but it didn't give them any sort of spare money. They weren't able to take it clean enough, so it puts them in a kind of difficult spot here. I mean, they're able to scrape the buy together with a couple of FAMASs coming out, but again, certainly a lot of weaknesses in this. Not nearly enough nades. There's no defuse kit once again, which we've already seen being a bit of an issue. So this is a tough round. This one's kind of do or die. If they drop this one, then we're looking at 8 most likely for 100 Thieves before the guns can actually come out again for the Brazilians.
That's one of the problems now. You see 100 Thieves, they're looking good, and a nade to open things up as well. It's not just with the weapons that they can open duels as Art falls. Now 100 Thieves look again towards dropping some smokes on outside, and they've consistently been finding this control without too much contention coming through from FURIA. In terms of mollies, there's none, so you can't even deny those smokes from going down. You can't, whoopsie daisies. There's a 4-man pyramid there for a second. Henny could have been finding more than just the 1 kill, but luckily only finds that single to flash over the aggressive outside smokes as they start to push forward right into A. Blitzing over the bomb site. The speed that they're bringing is unbelievable, and there's just no stopping it for Furia. Losing duel after duel as the bomb goes down. They've got to rotate coming up aggressively on ramp as Casarado makes it into radio. And Vinny looking for the weapon outside. They could still go in for this. It is an A retake with a man disadvantage, but they need a kill soon if they're going to. And the 100 Thieves are playing this quite passive, just holding angles, not going out to hunt down just yet. So this should be a safe call now for Furia.
Yeah, without the kit, they just couldn't afford to attempt this retake. They aren't really given any other options. They have the op and a couple of rifles that they can bring over to at least try and fight it back in this next round, considering they do have the full loss bonus, obviously. They will be able to drop over a couple of weapons. That does rely, though, on these players surviving. Even if one of them gets taken down, then that would put a player in this next round with a weaker weapon rather than everyone being able to get the rifles. So it does indeed look like 3 players will survive at least. So yeah, coming into this next round, we said if Furia were to lose that round, we likely would be looking at 100 Thieves getting up to 8. It's a different scenario now, obviously, with some weapons actually being saved over. Surprisingly, though, Arthur's just gone for the MP9. Could have been dropped for sure. Instead, Henny keeping some money for himself. I guess Art willing to sacrifice down a little bit, at least still has the full nades behind it. And obviously this time they do also have a couple of defuse kits in play. So I mean, not a bad buy. Better than the one that they... Better than some of the actual full buys that they've had throughout this game so far.
Oh yeah, definitely. But making it work is going to be the main challenge. Art's getting aggressive in secret. They know they've lost outside control. He's right up there with an SMG, but 3 players looking at him. Now just the one. Azur there to be isolated, and he's not checking for him up close. A free kill for Art, moving to the bomb site now to hopefully catch them off guard. The AK irretrievable, but looks to make it work with the SMG up close. He's looking for double doors, but Gratisfaction drops behind him. And now a 4v3 with 100 Thieves on full control of B. Great read by Henny, though, that JKS was lingering around on outside.
Yeah, expecting that one. At that point, of course, JKS was just trying to see if he could cut off the rotation through the vent, or if anyone tried to go out towards Secret. But now it's the 3v3. I mean, the nades that are available for the CT side is one Molotov that has actually gone in towards the back of the silo. Unfortunately, not landing to actually flush Liaz out. So he's able to just pop out, get himself a headshot, and as Vinny goes down, I don't think it's something that they're actually considering anymore. You can see Henny still just chilling up in the door at this point. Yuri retrieved the Krieg and has begun to back away. This time, I don't think they're going to be looking at the buy. I mean, again, they could try and scrape it out if they wanted with the full loss bonus. Casarao could buy for himself, as could Art. So I think they probably will just go for it here. But again, small few limitations going to be found. And it is just 100 Thieves beginning to run away with this one. 8-3 already. They've at least confirmed themselves the lead going into the second half. And of course, being on the T side of Nuke, that is a very comfortable position to be in.
The timeout. The slow down. Time to think about where they're heading. As I said, 100 Thieves on 8 rounds. I said it a little bit ago. Would be a little bit too far, and they've already reached that goal. Now Furia don't need to leave themselves into a taco situation. Or that comeback. The result of it would be, well, of course not. If they're down 12-3 at the half. Very rare that you see a team swap to the T side of Nuke 12-3 down and make a comeback. They would need to call the man himself to get a motivational speech.
Yeah, no, we've seen some crazy ones, of course, but it doesn't happen often. Just because it's so demoralizing losing a half 12-3 in the first place, and just knowing that you're going on to a very difficult half at that point, it can be tough to get yourself back into the game. But look at this, 100 Thieves. We haven't really seen any straight up A rushes in at least a few rounds from them. This time it's not working out too well. What the hell? I don't know how Gratisfaction managed to actually swing around for that second kill. But that's not all he's been able to find. He's actually taken down the player up towards heaven as well. The bomb now gets planted. And somehow this has actually been recovered back into the 2-on-2. The health, though, is not ideal here for Gratisfaction. The wall bang almost dropping Henny without even seeing him. Actually allows for JKS to easily follow up. Does a small bit of damage on Art as well. This round, I don't know what's happened for Furia. It's just crumbled, and Gratisfaction has been the man to ensure that was the case, hitting some incredible shots, but it's not over yet. Art, he does have a defuse kit, just actually drops that smoke and is looking to try and stick it. Getting close, but not close enough. Gratisfaction being low is the first man who just runs out there. Obviously, if the player isn't sticking it, he might go down in the fight. He might have a chance to get the kill. But the main thing is the other player then just playing safe still. So they're just running that time down on the bomb. But obviously, if he's sticking it, Gratisfaction doesn't matter. Steps out, gets himself the kill for free. And it's 9-3 as we have lost the FURIA player from the server.
CS crash again. Yeah,
Been a lot of
someone's PC is running on a potato. But oh my god, Gratisfaction. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just smashed his PC after that, because I certainly would have. That's insane. Like, even the spray down through the wall afterwards as well. Like, just stop. Somebody stop the dude. 180 spinning, looking at heaven, running into hut, right through the wall. Nasty, nasty. He's had a hell of a series as well. I mean, Vertigo, he was the man to look at. He was the one that put the fear of God into Furia, and right now he's doing exactly the same thing. I mean, there is so much to be done on this CT side to recuperate their losses, and it's very unlikely to happen. The economy would be okay to get a buy if they were on the T side, but they're not getting rifles, at least not good ones. At the same time, you don't take an eco when you're 9-3 down, or at least not happily. Not on the CT side of Nuke. The other problem as well, Dean, is what I talked about coming into this map, or what we spoke about, was how a team like Furia isn't going to be in a position where they say, oh no, we got smashed out on the second map, oh GG, we lost. They're a cool, calm, collected team. There's going to be no problems in that sense. But then when you come into this map, you win the knife, you get CT side, everything's looking good, and all of a sudden it's 9-3, and who knows how this half's going to end, probably with double digits for 100 Thieves. All of a sudden, I think it's a lot harder to fight off those kind of conversations in your head or in the team speak as it is. Like, that's rough.
Yeah, I see. I agree with what you said earlier, where I don't know if a team like Furia are going to have those mental issues. It's also partly, of course, just 100 Thieves. The fact that they've done so good, they're having mental issues, but their mental issues are that they're feeling too good. They're feeling too confident because everything's working. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly a tough spot to be in. And already with this being a weaker buy for Furia, having already lost the player, it's not really looking too promising.
Second opening duel with a nade for Gratisfaction as well. In a half, as you do.
On the T side as well.
Yep.
On the CT side, that's a little bit more common. Yeah, just bringing it towards outside now. Realizing, obviously, with the rifles, they are going to be heavily favored in any sort of range duel, so wanting to be in comfortable positions for the weapons that they have, and indeed it is working out. Yuri, now the last man standing, has gotten himself one, was close on the spam there. Actually does tag up Jacob a little bit more as well as he comes through the smoke. Kind of surprising they were just like, yeah, whatever, we'll just go for this fight. Was the bomb dropped there, or because I believe it was on the back of one of the players? Yeah,
yeah, they had it. They just ran through a smoke like, oh, what's a deagle, bro? Don't worry about it. It could have been a little bit risky.
See, I guess the issue is if they tried to run it down to B anyway, by that point the player could just go down the vent. So it'd be pretty much the same, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's like, pick your poison, right? Do you want to face off running through a smoke against a deagle that you know where he is, or do you want to wait and have a deagle surprise you? Like, those are your two choices. No nade for the door. There's a molly down as well, so Grady was up a little bit too close to it, gets lit up quite heavily, and has to back off. It's one of the better early rounds for Furia that we've seen so far, which is a very bad thing, in all honesty.
Gratisfaction actually getting rid of that op, thrown over the fence and going back for a Krieg. Unfortunately, while he was doing so, he has lost a few players across the map, both Liaz and also Azza being taken down there by Casarado and Henny finding frags. So this is certainly one of the better positions now we've seen Fury in quite a while. And I mean, if they can bring it back to 5, then it's obviously still recoverable. There's nothing to say that Furia can't have as strong of a T side as 100 Thieves are having. Ideally, they do need a little bit more, and it is at least looking good in this round. Nice shot by Art, leaving it just onto Jacob and Gratisfaction. I think really the goal for these two players now being is if they can get at least a few kills, maybe drop it to like 2 players surviving, limit some of these ops, don't let them have the double op then coming into the next into the final round of the half potentially. And indeed, they will get going forward now over towards that A bomb site. One player above the hub, one on the bomb site, and I believe one around main as well. So it is definitely a strong setup here for the CT side, and despite Jacob actually finding that initial opening, he is going to then be the last man left standing, already down on 7 health, and spotted through the gap in the door there.
At long last, Furia have found it, but it definitely feels like it's too little too late. Double digits for 100 Thieves. This is a very, very tall task to overcome if they find 5. Now, the full buy definitely possible, but it's possible for 100 Thieves as well. And as we've seen so far, they have very little issues when it comes to landing opening duels and connecting the round afterwards. The conversion rate's been very good. In stark contrast to map number 1. The outside push by Art. The smokes go down. He could fade through that, and yes, he does. Catches Jacob with his knife out. And there's a nice opening duel for the CT side. The Molly stops any further secret pushes as they scramble to retake control, but unfortunately, Art swinging doesn't land that one. And now they know Vinny's up close too. Oh, not that close, they don't, and there's 1 and 2! Vinny shutting them down on outside. And only 2 players left for 100 Thieves to take the B bomb site. At least they've got the bomb with them.
Yeah, that's a positive, as is the headshot from Azza. Henny goes down, so that is the op being removed. JKS, though, almost getting caught there by the player in the vents, and eventually does go down to Yuri. And Casarado already up close, Azza having no idea, of course, having been preoccupied actually getting that bomb planted. Tries to position himself up close to the ramp after he gets it down, and doesn't expect Casarado to just be behind them at that point. So 5 to 10, I mean, a good recovery from FURIA in the end to be able to bring back those final 2 rounds, which wasn't looking too good at one point. We said if it went 12 to 3, it was probably over. This one's recoverable. As I said, though, it obviously does require them to pick up that pistol. One thing that's worth noting is that you don't really see anyone on the side of FURIA really standing out as having a poor game. You don't really see anyone standing out as having a great game either. It is relatively close. So if they can keep this up, if they can have 1 or 2 players step up a little bit more, I do think there is still hope for them to pull this back and try and get the win. Of course, though, it is the halftime. We always have a few minutes break.
What I will say is in that final round, FURIA looked a whole lot more like themselves. The aggression that they went for with Art on the AWP through the smokes. We saw Vinny doing the same as well. That's FURIA. That's the team I expected to see coming into this, but a little bit too cautious and slow to start this one off. Losing a lot of the opening duels and playing that little bit more hesitant is not what we're used to seeing. With that coming through, the thing is, I'd normally see it on the CT side is where I would favor them massively because that's where they lend themselves towards very convincing performances, catching teams off guard and not giving them space. They didn't do it to 100 Thieves, and now with that kind of a lead built up, it will be difficult for 100 Thieves to throw it away and for FURIA to snatch it out of their hands. With a little bit of utility balled up on Ard here, we're seeing a molly, a nade. Contingent looking at an inside push. The nade down for the door and just blitzing out. I wondered if we are going to see the heads-up aggression from FURIA. How they start this one off very much defines the flow of the game. They do at least need a bomb plant here. If they're finding the pistol, that would be fantastic. But a minimum for me is getting that bomb down so they can at least secure themselves enough cash to contest round number 2 and not let 100 Thieves run away with an early lead.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes even winning the force buy can be better just because obviously your opponent then doesn't have the elevated loss bonus. Not something you want to do when you don't want to be trying to make that happen, obviously, when you're down 5 to 10. You're just like, yeah, we'll take the pistol win and we'll hopefully win out the anti-eco then or the anti-force buy. But yeah, it's going to be a very important pistol round. I think if they do lose it going into the force buy, then it's going to be tough for them really to muster anything up. I think even if they were to get the plant, they may just consider taking the eco so that they could give themselves a real opportunity. Then it could be better for them to just give away that one round, but we'll see. I'm hoping for the sake of FURIA that they can give us a pistol round here, a strong one, and that's kind of where you do expect them to shine with how aggressive they have been playing. I mean, I don't know the stats. How have the pistols been going so far? I can't remember exactly.
I'm not 100% sure.
I think map 1, if I'm remembering correctly, I think both of the pistols may have gone, or I think they may have gone 1 each, and they may have gone 1 each on the second map as well, if I'm remembering correctly. Because I remember on the first map anyway, I believe it was 100 Thieves picked up the pistol round and then lost the 3 afterwards.
I've got it here. The first map. Let me double check this here. Sorry. Yeah, Mirage. FURIA won the pistol round and walked away with a 5-0.
Oh damn. I was thinking of the last series. It was my bad.
So FURIA won both maps on Mirage, and they won both pistol rounds on Vertigo as well. So they've actually won all the pistol rounds.
Oh, damn. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's been looking good. Azza almost got himself a collateral right there. He actually dinked a second player with the 1 USP bullet. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get himself that kill, and will in the end actually go down as FURIA do manage to overrun this A-bomb site. Also have a couple of players trying to wrap around into heaven/hell. Yuri getting taken low now, calling in for some help. I don't know if Gratisfaction is gonna actually expect this player up here, but he does check it and has managed to drop both of these players extremely low. So this is recoverable right now for the CT side, especially as JKS is able to get himself one. Gratisfaction eventually finishing off Yuri, and now it's a 2-on-2. Make that a 2-on-1.
What a turnaround here. Henny's got to hold this one down. We said it can be better to get the bomb plant and lose the pistol round, but they definitely don't want that off the bat. Henny's been spotted. He's low HP, has to tuck away, go out for that bomb planter now. It's time to run. They've got a kid in play, and it looks like they're not going to get it. FURIA losing out the pistol, got the bomb plant, and as we said, Dean, this is technically the best position they could be in. Financially, anyways, they're winning the money game, the money ball of it all. One Krieg in play, passed over to Art. He's got himself a Krieg and full armor. Same thing possible here for Henny to donate, but he goes in for the Galil instead. Not a bad buy all around, but considering everyone has head armor bar Cacerado, who's coming in with no Kevlar even. They won't be vulnerable to the two SMGs, not particularly anyways.
If they don't pick up this round, then I am going to be worrying for sure. At that point, 100 Thieves just having such a massive and comfortable lead on the CT side, it will begin to look near impossible. Right now, though, as well, 100 Thieves, they are making this round look easy. A couple SMG kills being found initially. Yuri eventually does return one. And as I go to point out the fact that both Jacob and Liaz are low, Jacob does end up getting taken down as that door smoke fades away. So this is getting awkward right now. Definitely achievable for FURIA. As I said, I thought a flash in, allowing for Gratisfaction to peek and find one, and also tag down Vinny to leave both of these remaining T players now just barely hanging on to life by a very thin thread at this point. Looking like they might want to run it back over potentially towards ramp. Actually send the one player outside and one up on towards the, I guess, just on top of this ladder here to actually hold for any lobby aggression. 100 Thieves, though, going to bring it towards outside. AKS going to be left in the 1-on-2, manages to get that trade, but unfortunately does get dinked. So I think that's kind of the best that could have gone right there for Henny. Vinny does have a molly. Unfortunately not able to throw it into heaven in time, but manages to just about spin around as JKS begun to push out. And JKS almost able to catch the time in there, but yeah, great recovery, great, well played as well by Vinny and Henny in that 2 versus 2 with both of them being so low. As I said, it was a tough spot to be in. The fact that Henny was not only able to get the 1 kill, but also to dink then towards outside while being on like 10 health was quite massive. And FURIA, as I said now, the fact that they've stole away that force buy leaves 100 Thieves in a position where they've only gotten themselves actually 1400 loss bonus into this round. So they've gone straight for the force buy. If the force buy doesn't work out, then they're looking at an eco. And suddenly we should actually be seeing an 8-11 scoreline. So this is definitely still recoverable for FURIA if they can get these next couple rounds, and especially if they can do so cleanly.
100%. Getting the 5 rounds was really a necessity for them on the CT side. Like I said, if it was 12-3 down, I would have 0 faith. 5, okay, we have a little bit of a chance. Oh, nasty by Yuri. Keeps going. And JKM is down as well. 5 versus 3. Quickly taken care of there. JKS not up to much. And the CT side have lost this round almost without a doubt. Yuri's used up his headshots. He gets him eventually. Just spraying away. And as they're not likely to ace, so FURIA should be on 7 and then up to 8 with an eco from 100 Thieves. As you were saying, Dean, that definitely gives them an opportunity to take it across the line, or at least bring the scoreline that much closer.
It also seems like all 5 will survive. Yeah, I doubt Az is going to find any. I don't even know if he's going to survive at this point. Oh, yeah, no, he doesn't. That was one way to do it. I was going to say, if they don't, I don't know if they really want to actually risk pushing through that smoke and throwing away their own weapons. Ideally, they want to live with as many as they can and build up some sort of financial security, because if they lose a round and get put on an eco at this point, it could still be very awkward for them. Of course, they can't really afford to give away 2. But that worked as well. Art just spamming through the smoke. 7-11 now. It is going to be the 1 eco having to come in from 100 Thieves. So as I said, FURIA will be looking at an 8th round most likely here. And if they can keep 5 alive again, especially after that, their economy will be looking fantastic. So this is really their chance to try and get something going early on. Try and get some sort of, as I said, a bit of security in terms of the economy, and also some momentum and some confidence built up after having a poor first half. Right now though, 100 Thieves not really having any investment, are just stacking towards the garage outside, waiting to see if anyone's going to come in this direction.
Not getting any contact as FURIA overrun the A bomb site. They'll be going in there with the bomb in just a second, boosting up to get heaven control as well. And then the players outside should be in a little bit more trouble. They decide it's Art that's going to go through with the SMG, taking the more risky angles. And this should be a fairly clean shoot. Caserado's playing a dangerous game, peeking that. With no knowledge of how many pistols are there, and you see why, getting headshotted down to 36. Yuri as well takes some damage. But in the end, they survive with all 5 yet again, boosting their economy massively. And with that much cash in the reserve, that means they can easily rebuy twice if they lose rounds. So 100 Thieves will have to hit 13 to 11, excuse me, 14 to 11 before they get a guaranteed eco. And that's considering the possibility as well that Furia could get bomb plants in.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a great buy from 100 Thieves. So there is, as you said, a really good opportunity here for Furia. Look how aggressive, though. We're actually seeing Jacob get towards outside in the beginning. Ends up going down. Gratisfaction nearly being spammed through that smoke as well, but I think he will be spotted soon. And indeed, the kneecap pretty much just coming around the edge of the smoke. They're giving away that info to Art. So we end up actually seeing a 5-on-3 very early on in this round for Furia. Not only that, but they've already gotten themselves down through Secret, some good control being found. And for the moment, no one actually around this area of the map for the CT side. They've got 2 on the B-bomb side. They've got 1 back in the CT spawn. So most likely we will see Furia just being able to take over this B-bomb site for free. Kills elsewhere are being returned, though. A few lurkers being picked off.
Bomb being planted. For 100 Thieves going in for this isn't a necessity with the weapons that they've got in play. We could see them carrying them through to the next round and setting themselves up nicely to just have some pistols around them. And it looks like that's what we're going to go for. Which unfortunately for us means we gotta wait a while for that bomb to explodinate. It's all M4s at least and the Krieg. Guaranteed it's a real word. Don't look it up. You just have to trust me.
Just trust them. Trust everything you hear on the internet.
It's like an electron. It can be anywhere at once, but as soon as you measure it, you change it. So if you look it up, it stops being a word.
So yeah, just take Mitch's word for it, basically.
Exactly. I know what I'm talking about. At least 10% of the time.
10% of the time. It's a bit generous. Nah, you've definitely got me on the brains, but yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that.
As you said, a couple M4s and a Krieg being brought in this one, being saved over at least. So it's not too bad. Didn't really decide to buy up much around it though, apart from just a couple of pistols there. Jacob got Kevlar. They did have a lot of loss bonus, so maybe buying would have been an option, but I don't really want to go for it considering they do have a little bit of a lead still. And they actually have a little bit of a lead and kicking off this round as well. Make that more of one. It's just all going in favor of 100 Thieves. What has happened? Henny's left alone. Gets himself 1 more kill in his attempt to actually try and recover it, but ends up falling to Jacob. That was just absolute decimation. I'm not sure what they were expecting there. They knew there was at least a few weapons saved over, so the straight up A-rush was a very interesting choice.
Yeah, if you have a read on their economy, you know they're not going to be sitting pretty other than the weapons they saved. So a rush full stop was not the play. Outside control, maybe go slowly, look for the range duels. They're not going to have an op, you know that. So why not just play that slowly? I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee. In the rounds where they don't have a full buy, and especially where they don't have an op, you can take outside. That's yours. It's gifted to you. Hand wrapped, sealed. There's a ribbon around it. All you got to do is pull it. Not one of these ribbons you got to cut. You know, you just pull a little string, falls apart. Beautiful. It's an expensive present, not the kind of stuff I'd be buying where you just tie 3 knots on it and you're there for like an hour trying to unwrap it. Outside is yours, okay? It's easy, it's free. But they just blitz into A. Pistols everywhere, guys popping off from every single angle. Madness. Absolute madness. Bruce, yeah, indeed, even worse. Surely any notion of that play, you go, won't they have pistols, guys? No, we're gonna rush it. We're gonna rush in A. Okay. Hey, there's a smoke down. Should we? No. We're okay. Cool. It's just W key all the way.
Yeah, I mean, once they were committed, it was a little bit awkward because they couldn't just immediately bail. They tried to follow up with the trades and kind of just spiraled out of control. They do still have a chance though to try and immediately recover here, and haven't actually found that opening. Caserado giving them some hope, gets a second for himself. And with Yuri also contributing to the round, it is suddenly brought into the 4-on-2 with the A-bomb site this time actually successfully being found by Furia. And it doesn't really leave JKS and Jacob really too many options other than to try and save these weapons. Because if they do, then they should still have a pretty solid buy in this next round. You can see, of course, Liaz has plenty of money to rebuy for himself. Maybe we can see JKS then dropping up over to Gratisfaction, as they're going to be getting 1900, or rather, getting himself 2400 in the next round. So he'll have enough to also buy for himself. So they will have a good investment with both of these weapons being carried over. And I wouldn't imagine Furia will really try and hunt too aggressively. I mean, they have a bit of money on a few players. It could be worthwhile. But with their current positions, they're not really going to be able to reach anyone.
Bit of trivia for you. Vinny's gun is called Gehi and a love heart. So perhaps it was a gift. Who knows? That's my input for the round.
Yeah, maybe Gehi gave it to him, or maybe it's just general appreciation.
Yeah, maybe he's just in love with Gehi. I don't blame him. The handsome man.
Well, perhaps Gehi is one of the people who secretly could be the one helping them with this comeback, of course. I mean, in there is the coach. Perhaps he's having a lot of input right now, and it's definitely needed on the T side of Nuke. You do need to be versatile, be able to swap things up a lot. Be good with the mid-round calls as well, and early on into this round, we do actually see Furia been able to get that one player down in through Vent. Arc been able to drop down, takes a bit of damage, but importantly, does have that control at least now. It's going to be a little bit of a thorn in the side of 100 Thieves. They have to split that defense up slightly, and most likely we will see Furia try and take that ramp control. It was what they were looking at least to try and find initially. Now they're continuing the pressure a little bit towards A. See if perhaps anyone is going to be tempted to push.
Vinny dropping a smoke down. He's going to get himself out of ramp. He's been spotted now by JKS, but too focused on the player above as Castorado and Vinny combine to bring it back to a 3v3. They're moving down to B, where the bomb plant should be coming through, but hold on. There's one player up close, all the way up at windows now in observation. Azur is there. He's waiting to try and catch someone off guard. They don't think it's actually full commitment to B just yet. And they're right for a second as Furia are slowly walking down. But this does look to be a plant, as they're already on the bomb site. As they cross over, though, as they're spotting them, Henny now holding the angle. It would be unwise to re-peek that. And they will Molotov the door. Drop a nade in there as well. Swing it wide on open. And look for the... Oh, this is a risky plant. I mean, he can get an angle to see Castorado without being spotted from above, but he's not. So that was, I mean, very lucky that he didn't take the peek.
Yeah, for sure. But the bomb thankfully does go down. The Molotov helped a little bit, stopping him from being able to push out. But yeah, the 3-on-3 right now, I mean, some good damage definitely being connected as you see Kenny being tagged down, Castorado being spammed a little bit as well. But it doesn't seem to matter. Vinny manages to pick himself up a double. Castorado with the hole in the door that was opened by Liaz is able to find the headshot. And with that now, it's 11-12. Furia, they've brought this back to a very, very close scoreline. We've only seen 2 rounds so far on the CT side for 100 Thieves. One of them was the pistol as well. We've seen a single gun round being found. It wasn't the most convincing when they had 3 players alive. They then had to go ahead and save a couple in the next round to try and scrape out the buy. And finally, their economy has been put in a bit of an awkward spot. Again, being able to just continue to kind of scrape these buys out. But there's always some sort of weakness. And again, kind of lacking a bit in terms of the nades, having one player on a weaker weapon. As this comeback has really become a reality. I mean, we were doubting for a while. We were saying it was possible. But it was all speculation, but right now it definitely is the reality.
It's not too often you see those comebacks. I mentioned it earlier. I think everybody knows it. T-side Nuke's not where you want to be making your comeback happen. Not when you're 10-5 down. And yet here we are, Furia barreling forward. Absolutely no surrender coming through from them. As 100 Thieves hold down the AWP, actually caught off guard. Art dropping down the vent, got the right timing, held the angle, and Gratisfaction walked right on into those bullets. Now a man advantage to play with and control down in secret. Furia have got so much going for them. Bomb needs to make its way down there, and through outside I would presume is where they're going to be coming. But that does pose a bit of a problem. There is one player still out there lurking it out. JKM, excuse me, is waiting to catch them off. They decide instead that ramp is the way to go. And as Art slowly comes up it, and they find that angle to be clear, the steps are heard by JKM, confirming that there is movement down in secret. And the CT is now presumably going to start to try to make their way back down there, knowing with 20 seconds left, it is most likely going to be a hit into B.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they're not really going to be able to do anything about actually denying that bomb plant. So, yeah, indeed, it does go down at this point. As you said, most likely just going to have to be the save now coming in for the buys once again. So, I mean, we're about to see a 12-12 scoreline, which is, I think, something that most people probably weren't expecting. Again, thanks to the save, we will see 100 Thieves having the buy in this next round. They can drop over to Gratisfaction easily. They've had the full loss bonus rolling for quite a while at this point. They need to start picking up some rounds. This is map number 3. This is really all that matters in this series after those first 2 maps were concluded, and right now they are even struggling to actually save over all these weapons. FURIA, having so much money, obviously can afford to send out their players to try and hunt these down. As in, not going to be able to find any more either as he gets dropped. That final player, I think, should be safe and behind the fork. Has been spotted. There's only 1 player remaining. And there we go. He will at least survive. But yeah, I mean, only 1 weapon carried over. Now they actually can't manage to get that buy. So plenty of damage being done. We'll just see likely a half investment, as you do know already, an MP9 and a Deagle being pulled out with some Kevlar.
This is becoming a bigger and bigger ask for 100 Thieves as time goes on. And this is a stagnant CT side. You got to keep it in your mind, they won this pistol. And since then, they've only won a single round. And immediately, they got slapped back in their place. FURIA having so much money built up as well. It's not a case of winning 1 and instantly being back to their winning ways. 100 Thieves are definitely on the back end of this, and it's looking very likely FURIA bring across the line with outside control going towards them early on. They've learned their lesson, Dean, at least, not rushing into A against the pistols through smokes. It's an upside.
Yeah.
Gratisfaction's getting aggressive there, actually. Even through that Molotov, he was looking for an angle. It's very brave. And a deeper one goes through, so he's out. And he got naded as well. Ooh.
Realized actually that the second player was pushing there, trying to go for the wall bang. I was going to say, yeah, not going to be running through any smoke stupidly in this round. They definitely have learned from that mistake. You think about that. That's the reason one of those rounds actually came in for 100 Thieves as well. So it really has been a dominant T side so far. I mean, a couple trades actually coming back now in this round, despite the first 2 frags having been found by FURIA. Somewhat a recovery here from 100 Thieves to try and make it a competitive round at least. But again, Art able to find 1. JKS does return it, but now he's just in towards main, up against 2. He had a chance there, to be fair, because they weren't really in positions to fight with each other. You had Art wrapping back around. So if he had got that first kill, then maybe there would have been hope. But it's not allowed FURIA. They end up actually getting themselves into the lead now, as they head up 13-12. Another buy coming in from 100 Thieves. This time there's not really any weaknesses, so this is certainly one of the actual best investments we've seen them with so far. So this is where they need to make it happen. If this round goes over to FURIA, unless again weapons are saved, then most likely 100 Thieves looking at an eco in the next, and we probably see map and series point for FURIA.
You know, in the buy rounds as well, 100 Thieves have been the best they've looked is the 3 kills they found in the previous round. Other than that, 2 has been their best result, which is just shocking. And as you said, the only round they won after the pistol was the rush from FURIA versus pistols through smokes onto A. Very weird round. Since then, FURIA have been shutting them down, like winning in just an extraordinarily convincing fashion. Smoke's on outside coming through from Yuri. He's just keeping a little bit of control, a little bit of presence across the map as Art drops down and moves on in. The flash was there, didn't blind Jacob, excuse me. It would be weird if it damaged him. But even still, the duel goes to Art, and outside control definitely in the bank now. Looks like they're going to be swinging out to the A-bomb site in the long run. The bomb's still on T-roof, has got plenty of time left to make a decision on where he wants to go. They've swapped positions as well into garage. They're looking for 100 Thieves pushing back out to reclaim map control, which is very likely in this position in all honesty, because 100 Thieves have no idea what's going on. And there's one spotted, but unfortunately it was the op.
Yeah, I mean, it's still being traded back, though. 1 player up on top of the hood now, actually being entrusted with defending A, and unfortunately, Az is not able to do anything. But again, the op at Gratisfaction continuing the frag up to 3 now. Unfortunately, not knowing exactly where this final player is, so Vinny, with the element of surprise, is able to come out on top of the 1 versus 1, and despite Gratisfaction's best efforts, 100 Thieves are still yet to actually win out a gun round here on this CT side. 14-12, as I said, probably just the eco here. With the loss bonus going, they can get the half investment. But we likely are going to see 15 here for Furia, and at that point it's 100 Thieves just trying to play for the overtime. They'll need 3 in a row. I mean, we can't count them out completely in this round. Obviously, they do have 1 rifle, a shotgun, an SMG, and a couple of deagles.
I mean, what a story for Furia. What a comeback. From being 10-3 down to 14-12 lead. 100 Thieves on the edge of their economy. I didn't see this coming, Dean. I know I did vote at the very beginning. I said I thought Furia were going to win this map. I thought it was the CT side. I was very explicit about that. I thought their CT side is where they were going to look amazing. Steal the space from 100 Thieves. Beat down the confidence. But apparently they're just gods at attacking on Nuke. Well, fair enough.
This is just destruction right now. this whole series has been surprising in general with how one-sided the previous maps were, how one-sided the first half was here, and then we get another one-sided half in the second half.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the first 2 maps condensed into a half each here on this one.
Exactly. We just can't get a spicy trade back game, although this is a story much better than the previous anyways. And look at what 100 Thieves are skirmishing with at the moment. They're certainly not the best of weapons. Good molly to allow Cacerado to potentially catch anyone close main. Gives them the information at least. And molly even deeper just to make sure. And Gratisfaction decides that's his time to peek. Not really reading that utility meant they were still going to be peeking. Great damage done. Dropped down by Azur. He picks 1, but not good for a second. Still, the push up behind is looking pretty good. Deagle on outside, sure to be taken down. But JKS now in a position where he could be getting himself a lot of damage on the board. He's swinging up behind them in through Squeaky. But actually, they've bailed. They've ran down into Vent, and they're looking to take the B bomb site through Secret afterwards. The thorn in their side here could be the fact that you've got Liaz with a Krieg, a JKS with an AK, so that one-shot headshot potential is now in play.
Yeah, the biggest issue being that they don't have a kit right now, and both of the players been somewhat tagged up already. As you said, having the headshot capability, of course, does certainly help out, but being low, having not really a lot of time either to try and actually work their way into this bomb site is certainly going to be a massive issue. And yeah, no, this is tough. As you said, the money also could definitely force them to consider saving, but it seems like they do still want to go forward for the moment. Beginning to indeed push out. Art right now underneath the walkway here as a player over in dark as well. One player making a little bit of noise around the door as it gets opened. Oh. It doesn't really matter apparently. Art gets the first, transfers over as he hears the second player dropping down. I was going to say that probably would have taken a little bit of attention. It might have even actually attracted it to Art because he was up close to the door, but no, didn't matter. Was able to get both of them either way. 15-12. A closer round than expected considering 100 Thieves didn't really have that much of an investment, but indeed now they're actually coming onto the full buy. This is where they need to do it. 3 rounds in a row, it's certainly achievable, especially on the CT side of Nuke, if you're to look at the map in general. But if we're looking at the performance on this CT side so far, you don't really believe, do you?
Definitely not. That one round they got was when they got rushed with pistols. Again, I have to say, they haven't won a single buy round. And things are just not looking good at all for 100 Thieves. Furia have been so dominant on the terrorist side. They start this by losing Art, though. Maybe that's going to be a big downside for them. 100 Thieves, they've got the advantage. Finally, they've got the AWP on Gratisfaction, a weapon that has come in very handy in the past. I mean, this man is having a lights-out series. 23 kills so far. Top fragging the server, in fact.
Looks like Furia might want to just actually group up and just bring this straight on to A, despite having the man disadvantage. As they're holding a little bit of an off angle, I mean, it's fairly common, so they do indeed clear it. Unfortunately, he wasn't even able to find one, so now that puts Liaz in a tough spot on the bomb site, needing help, which is eventually coming in from heaven, but again, Furia just managing to keep the trades in their favor. They have a Molotov going down then as well to stop really anything from being followed up by that player who is still alive in heaven. Jacob will at least get himself one there after the bomb goes down, but now it's the 2-on-2. Again, no defuse kit currently in their possession, no nades either, apart from that one flash that's already been thrown in. And of course, as they try and cross over, Henny is watching this angle, so there it is, doing some good damage at least onto Jacob, despite not getting the kill. Okay, Jacob actually ends up getting the frag onto Vinny somehow. Will eventually go down, and at this point, the bomb is beginning to tick away. Henny just running it down perfectly. Flash goes in, JKS taps the bomb, but that's it. There's not enough time anymore. It goes down to the headshot in the end either way. It didn't really matter. 16-12. We are going to see Furia being able to make that comeback happen, and with that, winning out the series.